Okay,
Thank
there
you.
we go. As I said, the most important guests are our status corrected people, our fellow men and women that drew their line in the sand and said, enough, now it's on my terms. We also welcome interested people that managed to get the link to the meeting. You are free to join in with us and evaluate the information shared tonight for yourself. And just remember, do your own research. Don't take anything anyone tells you as fact until you've made it your own by doing your research. The information we will be sharing in
So
this is no way exhaustive.
scared to death of the barrel of a gun. Only in the second time that he.
Sorry, Benjamin Swane, he's not muted. Can we just mute him, please, if it's possible?
Already did that.
Thank you. We try to be as accurate as possible, but please understand we are just people. We're trying to convey information as best we could to you. And to just for time's sake, it's not possible to be too exhaustive, but please, you are welcome to do your own research. Okay, let me just see. Please take notes if you can. There will be questions and answer time during the second part of the meeting for you. And then now we also welcome our special guests, Pierre Odendaal and Wanda Carter. They will be answering important questions and making clear statements around our topics for the evening. Welcome to you guys. Wanda, welcome, and Pierre.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you, Pierre. Thank you, and good evening, everybody.
Right, Pierre and Wanda, you guys don't have to mute your mics, so you can stop me if I get carried away, and we can protect each other when we say things that we shouldn't, that the marshal at arms doesn't remove us prematurely from the meeting. Is that fine? Good stuff. We're also well-mannered. This is the first of what we hope to become a series of several gatherings around important facts and fictions about our assembled life. Our topic for this evening is defining an assembly. We're going to look at its definition, its objectives, its structure in broad terms, and the importance of land recording. So let's fire away with our first topic. Pierre, this one is for you. What is an assembly, please?
Okay, Mona, I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. An assembly is basically a platform of collaboration between like-minded men and women that aspire to live an abundant life under common, customary, and natural law. It's a platform that educates and develops structures that facilitate effective engagement with government or any form of social organization to achieve harmony and peace and abundance. Its focus is self-determination in a collaborative environment. In South Africa, the most appropriate system may be a canton system, similar to the Swiss because of the diversity distribution of our people in nearly every area in the country. And the assembly is a respectful gathering of all like-minded people in respect to organize their way of life without interference from selfish, interested-driven individuals and the efforts to turn us into slaves of any form.
Just Pierre, is an assembly and status correction only a way to access our GSG promised money, the AFDs? Would you mind just clearing that up for us before we continue, please, Pierre?
Sure. Okay, so GFG is like an entity on its own. It's not part of the assemblies. It has its own unique objectives and infrastructure. The assemblies have no control or influence on how or where GFG operates. It's also not easier nor more difficult to open up a GFG account because of an association with an assembly. Yes, the 528 or the political status statement of political status is required by GFG, and that's something that you can do through the assembly or on your own directly with GFG. We do, as an assembly, have a role to play once the GFG rollout begins, but that role hasn't been defined yet. We have been given, we've had to sign an agreement with GFG, the coordinators, to only disseminate information that comes directly to us, to our assemblies. So we have a good relationship with GFG for South Africa, our assembly, myself personally. But that relationship should not be overestimated nor underestimated. It's just that. It's a good relationship with equal commitment to serve the people. As a general overview, GFG could be considered, once it's rolled out, the banking environment, and the assemblies could be seen as the government environment. And that's pretty much it. We as an assembly, and I just want to make sure that people understand that the assembly will not be responsible for the rollout or the dissemination of the value that comes out of GFG. We might be asked to put forward people, but all of those requirements will be given to us by GFG when it's time for South Africa to roll out the GFG system. But I just want to make clear, we are two separate organizations. One is banking, one is self-determined government. And on that, I yield. Mona, you muted?
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Let's move on to Wanda for the next topic. Wanda, what do you want to achieve with an assembly? Why go through all this trouble?
Well, no, thank you. I think all the volunteers would actually agree with me when I say it's not trouble. It's not all. It is one of the most exciting things, one of the most liberating things that the world is going through. The assemblies of the world are going through. Let me just mute that. Okay, muted. At the moment. To answer your first half of your question is, one of the most important things is to have the structures that can facilitate self-determination and governance of the people. We need to create a lawful, practical, balanced relationship between the people and the government, obviously insisting on clarity, justice, equity, and all those things that have been lost, removed. Inform people of their unalienable
Just hang
rights
on
as
there.
well.
When it comes to government,
Yeah.
Isn't our purpose to move away from a government of any sort of nature?
Well, certainly is certainly the structure that the government structure that we know today. Yes, most certainly. The assemblies are a governance structure, and they are set up by the communities. They are not dictated to by a higher power, and we need to ensure that what we're doing is ensuring that the assembly way of governance and the structure is adopted and honored and provided for in our South African Constitution. And this we do peacefully. We do all of this peacefully. We use no violence, no demonstrating. We learn our rights. We learn all the time. And we do it all in a peaceful manner. With that,
Thank
I
you for
yield.
that. Please continue.
Okay, so we need to guide the people in the parameters of the law to achieve their full potential in abundance for their community's needs. It is the communities that drive this whole structure and system, and the people need to get together in their communities and decide what it is they want for their communities and how they want to govern themselves, as opposed to being told how to do it. So if the communities decide they need a pedestrian crossing outside the school, they make a decision and they put that forward. And that's what needs to be done, as opposed to being told, well, no, we don't like that. Well, what we'll do is we'll do a circle down the road over there that might. So yes, it is this is community driven. With that, I yield. Anything further, Monet?
Can I pop in here quickly as well?
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to what Wanda's saying, you know, a lot of this depends on numbers. You know, there's a lot of people. So if we want to form a platform that can ensure as many people as possible have like a bargaining power or some kind of power to reform government in a lawful and effective way to properly serve the people, we need numbers. Numbers can help us empower people to operate within the law to achieve their full potential. It also, with the numbers, we can make information accessible on the legal systems that they have access to within their country and as well as internationally. I think the important thing to think about is that there's no overthrowing of anything. There's no overthrowing of government. That's not going to happen. But what we can do is when we come together, we operate within our proper status, our proper capacity, our proper standing, and then with respect to the judicial system and the government and their constitutional frameworks and international law and the historical context of how our country's put together, when we've got enough people operating within that capacity and with a proper standing, we can start making changes and to see things happening the way that we want it to do. Without a political party, political parties, we all know political parties are, it's not working for us. So yeah, together we educate the status-corrected men and women on practical and lawful ways to administrate their lives or themselves, and not us. We, as people learn, as people grow, as people come together and they volunteer, we help everybody get to the next level. So, and that's part of informing the people of different mechanisms to advance towards self-governance. And really, I always say to people, we have the government we have because of the people we are. If we can't self-govern, if we can't look after our own communities, if we don't know how to manage ourselves, then we're going to get a government that's an iron fist. But when we start self-governing and we look at that, you know, I am my brother's keeper, but I am my own keeper first, then things start to change. Yeah, and we do this in a practical, non-combative effort. We do it under the law that's common to all, natural, customary law, especially for our indigenous groupings. And I just want to say, a lot of people that we've worked with are white, and I think it's just the nature of what's happening at the moment. But this is for everybody, and we wish that all of the communities, everyone in South Africa, start looking at this as a way that people call it emancipation, people call it reclaiming your rights, all that kind of stuff. But it's a way of thinking that can help us towards a more self-governing system that we actually have a role to play in our future. And in that, we form a part of an effort to place the government and its official in their proper place in society, and that's as servants. With enough numbers, we start weeding out corrupt individuals that harm the people. And locally, on a community level, with enough people, we can start putting structures in place to achieve these objectives. general assemblies, banking, peacekeeping, administrative. And it all comes down to really learning about your proper place, your standing, your capacity, and all those kind of things. On that, I yield.
Thank you, Pierre. The participants, please, guys, you're encouraged to take notes and get ready for an opportunity to ask questions after the introduction and interview with Wanda and Pierre and Tommy, I see. So please make your notes, everything relevant to what we're discussing. Any questions you have, we'll get to you in the queue eventually. Now, Pierre, just what does a National Assembly structure look like? If we had to explain to someone that comes fresh off the street, and we tell them, listen here, we have to have assemblies so we can reorganize our way of life, help government to find their place, and keep everyone safe. How does that structure look like? Because we want to form something. How does it work physically? Who's who in the zoo? Who has to get what done, and so forth? Please, Pierre.
Okay, Morne, thanks. All right, so in the beginning, the coordinators, all of this started. The South African Assembly basically started with Wanda and myself. We were coordinators. We are coordinators, and a lot of the forward push was done by the coordinators while there weren't a lot of people. Okay, so but the reality of it is the coordinators are not the bosses of the assembly. They're not the CEOs or the defining. They shouldn't be anyway. They should not be. They should be the guidance that reaches towards putting a group of volunteers, gathering the right people, and a lot of the times the right people step up. And the volunteers are really in charge of the administration, the continued status correction, when the time comes and our numbers are sufficient, our general services, peacekeeping services, treasury, donations to help fund the national assemblies. And then eventually, hopefully, when there's enough people and it's broad enough, that will go something to like cantons to maintain a common infrastructure. So the National Assembly, yes, it starts off. So it's kind of an interesting thing. This is a bottom up self-governance system. It's done by the people, it's done by volunteers, but unfortunately, the bottom up, the full bottom up won't happen before the National Assembly is in place. So at the moment, the National Assembly is in place and it's staffed by X number of volunteers. And as we grow the National Assembly, what should actually happen is that every district or every region, let's call it cantons at the moment. So, or if I can compare it to municipal districts, like for example, the Overstrand or the Overberg or Eden County or whatever area you're in, should have a local assembly that functions very much in the same structure as the National Assembly. And then as those local assemblies or local cantons get filled up with people, they will then send representatives to sit on the National Assembly. So it's starting top down. It's starting with the National Assembly, and then the local or district assemblies will be populated as more and more people volunteer in their areas. And then at a certain point, it will flip around organically where there's enough people on the ground, on the local or district assemblies. Let's say, for example, Eden Assembly or Overberg Assembly, and we've got all of our districts manned with enough volunteers, and those assemblies will then choose people as representatives to go up to the National Assembly. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've kind of given you two things there, but the National Assembly structure should really be made up out of representatives or people from every district, each one of the districts in the country. And that's really why we need numbers as well. We need people to step up, do the learning, jump in and say, well, I'm here. What can I do? How do I get this done? And this really should be, the National Assembly should really be a representation of all the communities in the country. And then also just to touch quickly on the Land Recording Office. So the Land Recording Office, just because of the importance of what it is a standalone independent function. The assembly does not control the land recording. The assembly is actually like a client of the land recording, simply because we want to make sure that the integrity of the information, the integrity of, I mean, we built the LRO to be extremely robust, from all this. We've got multiple servers around the world. It's a very expensive thing to run, let me tell you. So it has to be incredibly robust. Its information is 100% secure, and not even the top people at the assembly has access to the land recording office. That's how secure that functionality is. So eventually, when we have local assemblies or district assemblies, they will then become clients of the LRO as well. And this is really to protect the people, so that there can be no, if I get dementia tomorrow or get some kind of mind virus, I'm not going to be able to do something untoward and all of a sudden be able to access the LRO and people's information or mess with the database. That LRO is completely insulated from everything else that the assembly is doing. Does that answer your questions,
That
Mornay?
answers it.
Okay.
Just Wanda, maybe to answer for us, why do we need a national recording office if you can have your own little recording office in your own little assembly and or in a canton? What's the importance of having one big national land recording office?
Monet, we actually have Tommy in the room. Tommy is our liaison officer for the land recording office, and I think it would be a good best if he answered that.
Oh, that's super. Tommy,
I hand over to you,
welcome.
Tommy.
Just go ahead and touch on that. So the Land Recording Office is a centralized recording for all land records internationally. So when you record your documentation on the Land Recording Office, it upholds the recordings and keeps it central to the assemblies as well as local and international. The Land Recording Office ensures unity, continuity, and long-term recognition while respecting local autonomy. Through standards and security systems, LRO provides consistency and lasting protection. All records are managed with strict confidentiality, modern security, and full respect for personal privacy. The LRO is transparent and it is always there to assist. You can always contact us for any assistance. I yield.
Tommy, just something. When it comes to land recording office, is there any form of standard for verification? Are there audits to check that we actually do what we say we're doing, or that the land recording office does what it says it's doing? How do you guarantee the quality of the work of the land recording office?
see a public record that has been published that ensures that every step through the 528 or 928 has been ensured, whether it's been sent to either one department or all 4 departments, plus all the documentation is autographed and sealed in the correct content. All documents are visible and viable. And yeah, that's how the LRI does it.
Okay, good stuff. Thank you so much, Tommy. Okay, thank you, Vanda and Pierre. We thank you guys for sharing all that information with the guests. Remember, the meeting is recorded, so we're going to move to question and answers now. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. You're going to be put into a queue, and then we will tend to you in that queue. So everybody listening, you can ask your question. When we call your name, you can ask your question. Please remember to unmute your mic. That is something to remember, I believe. And let's fire away. The first question or statement.
Monet, if I may, if you don't know how to raise your hand, at the bottom of your phone or your screen itself, there's a little heart. When you click on the heart, it says raise hand. You'll then come up on the screen in the order that your hand is raised. And when you're done, you just click again, lower hand. I yield.
Monet, if I may, whilst we're just waiting for the questions to come in, just like to let everyone know that 2026, we are really focusing on county assemblies and working with the communities. We already have 3 communities that are in the process of getting themselves together, getting themselves vetted, getting all their documents, their people, and all their ducks in a row. So it is very, very exciting. With that, I yield. Honor, you have your hand up.
Honor, you can unmute yourself. So you're there. We can hear you now. Honor, what is your question?
That is my phone's number. I'm Emmanuel. I hear what our leaders say about leader PSA and about communities taking control on their own. But what if the communities run out of order? And I must tell you, their standpoint in the first place is robbing our people. What do LRO doing about that? Because I'm was in an organization, and when I asked questions, I was kicked out. I was a leader of all my people of 97 communities, but they kicked me out because I want to know the real thing. I didn't know about LRO because these people call themselves LHO. And what they busy doing, most probably some of the things that our leader also mentioned about taking over, it is not a thing that you have to take the government over or do what the government do, but they are completely work against the government, and they want to overrule the government. So it is like you are not political, but you do the things that the political people do. My problem was that, and I can't go on with it. But the big thing of everything is, like for instance, when I say rob, then I mean someone asks you your PIN numbers and everything after it come from GFG. So they change it and they make our original PIN number their number and keep it for them. So that for me is crooked, and that is why I was kicked out of, they call themselves LHO. I'm struggling to get into LRO at the moment and register myself at the GFG because I struggle because of they block and get rid of me. I just want to know, what are we doing with these type of people? I know it is a good thing to employ our people, but what if people do their own thing in that form? Thank you very much.
Emmanuel, thank you for that. Yes, we actually chatted during the week, and I am waiting for Rudy to send through that list to me, and I will get it sorted out for you. So that's with regards to what has happened. With going forward, though, there would be a structure. There is a structure that applies in the communities, and the communities would basically not allow or permit that to happen. But further to that, Emmanuel, one thing I have discovered as we've been along the road and encountered certain things is that the structure of an assembly system, it's brilliant. And whilst you're looking and reading and studying and understanding this, and then as you go along the process, suddenly you realize that you get checks and balances coming in from all different angles. So yes, once your community is set up and get going, then that's not going to happen because the community is going to be in charge. It is. And so that going forward, you'll be fine. But currently, to address your current situation, and I am seeing Rudy next week as well, we're going to sit down face to face and chat and work through everything as well. That find out where you guys have been and where you want to go, and we will most certainly get that ball rolling. But yes, that list, and I explained what I need for that list, and I will address it. I yield. I hope that answered your question, Manjot.
Yeah, I think Emmanuel, just to add up to with what Wanda's saying, at the current moment, with the small numbers we have, it is difficult to enforce anything. We mostly depending on educating the people. And I know when money is involved or the thought of money is involved, it can make people go crazy. So I think the first bit of education that could be done around GFG, and we're not responsible for GFG. We can assist in certain things, but the GFG and that money flow is not in our sphere of influence, if you can call it that. But I think what we can do is we can educate people, and if anyone ever has a situation where someone is by hook or by crook taking someone else's login details, we will have the ability for you to contact us, and we can get your account reinstated to you, or we can send a list of people whose accounts have been compromised, and we can sort that out. I think that's what Wanda was talking about now. But really, the education part of it is to don't give out your information. In fact, don't even tell someone that you're busy doing the global family group and what kind of money it might or might not be. Just keep that kind of stuff private. This is like in real life. You would only work with or tell people about the kind of money that you have if you really, really trusted them. So it also comes that this is the self-governing part of it. Be careful of what information you share with people regarding the financial things, but certainly if people's accounts have been compromised, we have a way, as Wanda said, send through that list, and we have a way of restoring the security to the people. And on that, I yield.
Thank you, Pierre. Anybody else with a question? just on that note, just maybe some information around information. Social media is extremely effective to communicate both truth and lie. And it does so with extreme prejudice. You cannot control a message once you've sent it. And that kind of power we could easily use to communicate issues like the one that Emmanuel and them have experienced. You could spread like wildfire information like that if you make public what happened. The thing is, we find that many people that have not such good intentions tend to rely on the good guys to keep either very quiet or just must slick it and move on. And that is not always necessary. If someone is starting to rob your community, you have every right to put their face on social media if you have definitive proof. And if in any way there are a few good rules of thumb, if you are ever required to keep quiet, people are manipulating you, it's certainly not somewhere you should be. If you are ostracized for asking questions, or you are discouraged from asking questions and getting answers, there is something wrong with whomever you are dealing. That's dishonest, and it's certainly not what we should be standing for. So be careful out there. Money makes people crazy. It makes them do things that they, under normal circumstances, would not do. Look at government. Spending millions to recover kind of millions and the millions upon millions because of theft. Money makes people crazy. So let's keep ourselves safe. Make sure we're not vulnerable. When somebody wants to touch money or promises you money, go and find out. If something is too good to be true, generally it is. That said, don't be a complete skeptic, but be careful. Just be careful. Thank you. With that, I yield. Willem, you have a question?
I don't have a question, Moray. Thank you. I just wanted to make a statement based on what was asked and the answers that were given. And I can't begin to stress enough how vital it is for living men and women that are on this call and those that will still be joining these calls and our assembly to gain the understanding to find your place within your assembly. Until we don't have the platform where the assembly is standing, it's very difficult for us to execute any form of law enforcement or community enforcement on the relevant level related to our jurisdiction. So I want to encourage everyone that's on this call not to be scared of getting involved in the assembly, but to actually find out where can you fit in. This is the learn as you grow process, learn as you go process. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. When I came into the assembly, I was nowhere where I am in the assembly now, but it took a lot of reading, studying, getting involved and asking questions. And we're only as dumb as the question we're unwilling to ask. So with that, I want to encourage you to not be scared, ask the questions, put them out on Telegram. If we can't answer it, we'll try and find an answer. If we don't have the right person on that group, we will find someone to answer that question for you to the best possible of our abilities. I yield.
Yeah, if I can just jump in there, Willem, if you don't mind. I think it's a very good thing that you're saying there, but I also encourage people saying, this is how you should ask a question, in my opinion, is I have looked, I can't find, how do you do this? Because in the looking, you might find information that you can answer someone else's question. We should be our brother's keeper. So don't just come and say, I've done nothing, I've made no effort, someone must tell me what to do. That is not self-governance. Self-governance is really, in law, there's something called exhausting your administrative avenues. So it means I've tried everything. I've looked everywhere. I've done what I could do. I still don't have the right answer. So I think before you ask the question, make sure that you've at least done some kind of learning. And there's a lot of learning. It's better to ask, listen, this is what I found out. Am I right? Or am I thinking, as opposed to, I've done nothing, what must I do? So when you approach the idea of self-governance, and you approach the idea of community strength, and like, for example, Emmanuel was talking there, really, when the community is prepared in their mind about who and what they are, and what powers and what standing that they have, what abilities that they have, then that's a powerful community. And a lot of there's a saying says, if uh, today, if you want to hide something from somebody, put it in a book. That's not the people we want to be. We want to read, learn, make sure that we know what we're talking about, and really the questions that we ask are ones that we really couldn't find the answer to, no matter how hard we try. And I think that's an important thing. The more you learn, the more you read, the more you know, the more you can help yourself and your community. On that, I yield. Leona?
I've just got a question. For instance, if we're going to start a district assembly here, the people that's can assist, and do you have to be in that specific district, or can you be in another district but you can have a input in our assembly as well, as a coordinator or whatever?
That's a good question, Leona. I think I'll ask Wanda to answer this as well. But my thought would be, for a local community or district assembly, it's best that the people are from the district. But that doesn't stop you from maybe joining the National Assembly as a volunteer. And then once you're part of the National Assembly, that man or woman can then help local districts. So if you're not enough people in one area to maybe effectively start let's say 10 people, maybe there's 10 people required to start off a district or local assembly. If there's only one of you, volunteer on the National Assembly, and then through the National Assembly we can start helping our local assembly. So in some way or other, just get involved, and we can then help people on the local level that have enough numbers. I think Wanda's got a very good example in the Eden County area, so let her answer further to that.
Thank you. I yield.
Thanks, Pierre. Leona, yes, you would need to be in the area where the county assembly is setting up. You would need to reside in that area, and you need to be able to prove it. You would need to be in there for a while, not just arrive last week. But yes, you can assist others in their area. As Pierre said, joining the assembly, and we can take you through the steps. You can guide other people, but you do need to reside in the area of the assembly. I hope that answers your question. I yield.
Any other questions?
And can I ask something?
Yes, Carol.
If you look now at our assembly, it's now based, let's say, Mossel Bay or Eden, but we are in the assembly from different areas from from South Africa. Is that allowed? If you say that we have to be for a sub canton, we have to be resonated in that town, let's say like Stilbaai. Is that correct? But it doesn't matter if it's our assembly, we can be right around South Africa. I yield.
Caroline is correct. If you're part of the National or the State Assembly, it doesn't matter where you live. We need everybody and anybody with any skills, passion, knowledge, the desire to help people to join the assembly. But it's when you get to the county level, so what is your community, you would need to reside in that area. Emmanuel, you have your hand up. You're muted, Emmanuel.
There we go.
Emmanuel?
Sorry there.
There we go.
Like for instance, what happened here with like what the question that was asked just now, the person is most probably under the office, but they are play up on the LRO, but then you get the people of the LHO that are running at the moment. They're trying to run Western Cape, that I run for them with all my departments, but now they run everywhere over the whole 9 provinces. Where does the other person comes in if you want to do that? Like for instance, LHO, that is an illegal identity, run over the whole 9 province to GFG. Now I want to do only Western Cape through the LRO. Is it gonna be a right thing? Don't we gonna run over each other? That's why I say I don't know why they are doing it. Most probably they go straight to GFG, but for me, they don't care whoever who is where in South Africa. They do their thing, and in the meanwhile, I feel it is not the right way it's supposed to be. There are one leader there, Sandra, and she is doing LHO, but she want to handle Western Cape also. So I don't know where we're gonna fit in if we want to do something like that.
So what is the LHO, Emmanuel? There's a question that's asked. First of all, just to clarify, the LRO is a land recording office. So the LRO in our organization is a place that you record your documentation.
Documentation.
It's and it's not GFG documentation. It's your 528s or your 928s.
Yes.
But it's not related. Like I said, we're not related to GFG directly, and our
Okay.
LRO is just it's like a repository. It's like a place where all our documents are safely kept. So what is the LHO? And maybe this, if you can just explain it, maybe it's not for discussion on this forum. We might have to get together with you, in a different format, because it's not quite on topic. But if you could just give the room quickly, what is the LHO and what is their function?
Yeah, the function is exactly the same. Exactly the same that we do through LRO at the moment. Exactly the same. They discuss all these things. They are liberated humanitarian organization. They establish it themselves. They are not registered. They are actually illegal, but they all the things that we do by the code, your particulars, everything is the same. Exactly the same. Their paperwork is different. It's not original. That's why I say they do things, but their things is not compared to LRO. We just find out today paperwork is also the same. So our particulars was put on forms that is LHO and somewhat different type of forms. So we as in Western Cape, we counter them about that. And they say they don't care what paper you use. So that in the first place is for us unprofessional. So LSO got a top 6. LSA got, I was also one of the governors, but because of my questions, I was kicked out. So 100% they are doing the same thing that we are doing through LRO at the moment.
Okay,
But
so
they are libertarian humanitarian organization.
okay, so we'll speak to you off this platform probably within the next couple of days. And as Wanda said, we'll see what we can do to make sure that people's monies are not
Yeah,
yeah.
if I may just interrupt here. Patrick and I are seeing Rudy when we go through to Cape Town, and we are going to sit down and find out exactly what the structure. Rudy did send me an outline. To me, it looks like it's based on humanitarian projects, and the structure is not it's not the assembly type structure, because your assembly is your governance, a governance structure. But
Okay, so
once
this
we
is about
get down with Rudy, we'll find out a bit more, and yes, we'll take it from there and get. But we do not know or recognize it at all, Emmanuel.
and I think it might be something that GFG, if everything is put down on the table, and it does seem to be what Morne is suggesting is a fishing expedition to get people's access to their funds, then that might be something that
Yes.
GFG has to put out in a broad public notice, because
Yeah, that seems
it's
to be exactly what it is.
yeah,
Exactly.
because
They
this is yeah,
take the
this is not
passwords, the
the
security keys, everything. So yeah,
yeah
I'll
this
need that list of names. Mm.
yeah. Yeah, we'll have to do that list of names, and then we'll handle it over to GFG. And I think this is not the first or last time, and South Africa is probably not the only country that this kind of stuff is going to. There's crooked people all over the world, and the imagination of AFDs that are worth thousands of rands, or it's.
Gary,
Mm,
Gary, I just want to say something before I'm finished. Like for instance, you people say to us, you can do it yourself and pay maybe 100 rand or something for certain things, and you can do it yourself is actually the point. But they say you can't do it yourself. If you do it yourself, Rudy was the first guy, he's my IT man, and he was the first person who did it himself, and they were fighting him like crazy. Why did he do it? Because he must send us now his PIN to them, and he didn't want to send it. And that is what I also bring up to them, and they fight me completely about that. You said no, you can do your own thing. They said no, you can't. You must send your particulars to us. We will do it, and you pay us 400 rand and
yeah, see,
900, 800
that's
rand for 928.
no,
That's
there's yeah, no. No,
Emmanuel will definitely sort this out. Don't
yeah, we'll
worry.
sort this out.
We will
Okay,
get this
we'll end the
under hand.
conversation there.
Mm. Sorry, even before I get to you, Tommy, you had your hand up, down, up, down, up, down. Are you? Do you have your hand up? Do you have something you want to add to that?
Get the address of this LHO
Yes.
so we could look into it.
As I say, I'm sitting down with Rudy next week, and we will do. I already have got a few names from Rudy and Emmanuel, so we'll just get everything 100% sorted. You have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Wanda. Just before I get there, I see Elizabeth is making a note in the comments. I'm not comfortable speaking English. We are facing a very concerning situation in South Africa. and Africa, certain groups working out of official systems using fear to get the majority of Africa to do their Google forms to get control over money. We need to stop this group. And with that, I want to say, Emmanuel, just on what you've mentioned, there's a fine line and a very fine distinction between authentic and fake. And now, you use an example. If you go to the Nike shop and you go buy a Nike, there's 6 distinguishing points in a Nike shoe that you can see it's a real Nike shoe. But when you go to the flea market, you'll buy a shoe that looks like a Nike, but it doesn't carry the authentic markings of a Nike. And I think that is the important aspect, that every living man and woman that comes across anything that looks similar to what we do, take a very close look to what are the authenticating differences between what we offer and who we say we are versus those who pretend to be like us. And it will take a bit of digging, it will take a bit of research and take a bit of close scrutiny, and also getting involved in getting to know the people and the processes of the lawful South African Assembly to be able to distinguish between fake and real. So I want to encourage all of us to not make presumptions when you come across any information like Monet indicated on social media, but to actually take it and weigh up the differences between the two, and then come to your own conclusion. And then once you've made that conclusion, you stand where you stand. I yield.
I think it's also important to know that a lot of people don't know what we're doing purely because of numbers and exposure. As our numbers increase, people will know more about us, but it's foreseeable that people in the Western Cape might not even know about the assembly at all, whatsoever. That's why they get usurped by these phishing excess efforts to just harvest information and access the GFG accounts. And it's really information drive. We should do education and information. Everyone around on this call, or whoever sees this video eventually, must make sure that they try to advertise. It's not just, look, us volunteers know there's no real money for us in this. We're doing a lot of work there for nothing. So it's not as if we're going to get very wealthy if we have a lot of people coming to record. The main thing is, if you are recorded at the right place, involved with the right people, the future looks okay. But the only way we're going to get that happening is if we get advertisement, if we get advertised out there, and people know about us. So everyone on the call, or anyone watching this, should really try to promote this and communicate, because every one person sharing something on a Facebook or an Instagram or a WhatsApp or a Telegram group, it just promotes people getting access to the right information. Because the criminals are, I think, really relying on disinformation, poor control, poor communication. If we can manage that, I think we're far away. Thanks. Any other questions?
Morne, if I can just add to what you're saying there, yeah, you're 100% right, and I think, you know, if you're a scholar at all of biblical principles, you know, look at the fruit that the tree is bearing. If there's threats, if there's you know, violent words, or you know, how do the people that you're listening to treat the other people in society at large? You know, I know we've had some terrible situations over the last 2 years, and really we've how does the assembly react to those the violence that's done to it, whether it be verbal or written or whatever the case may be? And I think it's important to ask yourself, what kind of people do I want to be around? You know, you know, is integrity part of the structure that I'm joining? Is kindness part of the structure? Is acceptance and acknowledgement part of the structure? And be, as Morne said, be careful of anyone that's offering you something that sounds too good to be true. You know, when we spoke earlier on, is this is really a numbers game. We will start making a real difference in our societies and in our communities when there are a lot of us. That's how bottom up works. If there's one or two people promising you that they will move the heaven and earth for you, it's a trap. You know, we do this together. We do this when we're together, when we can stand together, when all communities of all cultures and races and creeds can stand together. That's when we get something done. Don't let there be anyone that's saying, "I'll be your savior." There's no saviors coming. We are our own saviors, and on that I yield.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'm going to give it another 20 seconds. If there's no questions, I think we can stop the meeting.
Yeah, thank you for everyone joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking your time at night. I know lots of us have families, and we really, really appreciate your time.
Just in closing, if you haven't yet, please do us a favor, go to our Facebook page, the South African Assembly. In the About Us section, you'll find the link tree. On the link tree, you'll find Instagram, TikTok, all the other social media platforms. Please go to those platforms, go like the channel. And when you do see our posts, please press share. Share them as wide and as far as possible. That will definitely assist the algorithm for the social media platforms to actually place us ahead of all the nonsensical stuff that's happening out there. And we'll be able to get better traction and communication out to the wider audience on South Africa. And with that, thank you very much, everybody. Have a good evening.
PJ from
Thank you, everyone. Patrick, you have
PJ
your hand
has
raised?
his hand up.
Thank you very much. I would like to just extend a big thank you to Wanda, Pierre, Mornay, and Vim, and all the other committee members in here tonight. Thank you for making this possible, and I'd also like to say thank you for everyone else joining tonight. This is the first of many, and we will be carrying on with it. And with that, I yield.
Yes, most definitely.
Thank you.
This year
I
I'll
see
be
PJ has
focusing
his
on
hand
the
raised.
county assembly. So please, if you're interested in you're getting your county assembly or assembly going, please get hold of me. And we will get the ball rolling on your side. And with that, I yield and thank you very much, the amazing nationals and men and women on the Zoom tonight and on this journey with us. Very exciting. Very exciting it is.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everybody.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Good
Bye.
night, everybody. I wish I could
Bye.
send some of our many, many rates to Western Cape.
Yes, please do.
Please.
Good
Please.
night.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody. Good
Bye.
night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.